Hey folks, if somebody asks you what's your favorite thing that you do in your work, you're probably not going to say annual self-evaluation and plan of work. That's why we're going to talk about how to use AI to accelerate and improve that process in this video. I'm Sean Foster. I'm a professor at RIT and also the CTL Faculty Fellow on AI. So we're going to break this down into 4 steps. So how can AI help this process? It can help with formatting, summarizing, data analysis, and going over and finding additional opportunities or identifying gaps. And then we'll give a little bonus at the end. Before we jump in, it's good to ask yourself, what's the goal of this paperwork? Really, it's to make it as easy as possible to demonstrate all the hard work that you did while highlighting areas that you really stood out in and identifying areas you can improve on while describing how you intend to do this. Doing these 3 things will make your boss's job a lot easier to give you the review that you deserve. So let's go over some of this. The first thing we're going to do is make sure we have the right forms. I've pulled up in the form, and one of the areas that's caused me pain every year is transitioning data from one system in RIT to another, and it's putting it into this format. So AI can really help with this process in gathering the information from our student information system and putting it in this format. So let me go over how to do that and also show you some other formatting tips. For the formatting process, we will be going from one format to another. AI is great at that. Also, having the AI put it into tabular data or putting it into a table. Also using some image recognition that the AI is really good at. And finally, having the AI act as your assistant. You can have the AI prompt you if you're missing any information. For example, I keep a list, an ongoing list of like work in progress for the entire year. But when I looked at this form, it's asking me certain things that sometimes I would forget to put in an additional detail. And then the AI can look at the information, put it in the format that the form wants, and then prompt me if I'm missing anything. All right, so let's jump in and work on that first table. So I'm going to use the ChatGPT's image recognition capabilities and have it put this information from one set of tables to another set of tables. So how do I do that? I'm going to hit Windows Shift S to do a screen capture of a partial screen capture of this window. So I'll hit there, that's copied in. I will paste this, Control V, into ChatGPT. Now I'll do the same thing for the annual evaluation form. So Windows Shift S, drag this, put that into ChatGPT, and then I will put a prompt in. And I'll just paste my prompt in. What would the prompt say? Something like this. Please look at the first attached image from the data on it. Create a table with information matching the format on the second picture. Please add the course numbers and the course title. Each class is 3 credits and all classes were lecture lab, no NTAD, and yes for TA. Now, I will have to do a little cleanup on this form, but this will get me 90% there. So after a few seconds, it created the table for me that I was looking for. Let's open this up. Yes, there it is. So I can download this as an Excel sheet and open that up. Now I can just copy this without the headers. And I'm going to go back to my Word document. So I selected all the fields and hit paste, and you can see it did it. Wow, that saved me a lot of time. That's awesome. Now, like I mentioned, there were a few extra co-ops and things that I didn't have TAs for, so I can fix that. But ultimately, this is going to save me a lot of time. Now, the next area that you can get AI help with is with data analytics, the summary of evaluations and reflections on student constructive feedback. So to do this, you can go to the Smart Eval system. You might want to mention your overall response rate, grab your PDF reports. If this is extremely low, the data validity might be skewed or in question. The next step with ChatGPT or any other AI that I use is I like to make sure that it does not train on my data. So you can go under your settings. So it's in the upper right-hand corner, settings and data controls. And it's under improve the model for everyone. If you click that, you can see that if you had this on it's on by default, turn it off so that your content is not being used to train their model. Okay. The other thing you can do every once in a while that is also to switch under your personalization, and you can clear the memories every once in a while. Then you can just grab the PDFs, drag this into ChatGPT, put a prompt in something like, these are my evaluations. I'm Sean. Please identify any strong negative or positive trends in student feedback from each class, as well as in total. Please include as much data as possible and write this in the first person. Be concise. Now, I've tried this in both ways, and I recommend, first of all, read these reports because you want to cross-check with the AI, and you can run a concise version or a non-concise version, and then you'll get some really great feedback. And this has just been a really great way to accelerate my process. Okay, so what's the next thing that you can do? We've gone over how to use AI for formatting and for data analytics. The next stage I would use AI for is summarizing. So it's great for summarizing what we've done. Always iterate, try multiple prompts, ask open-ended questions about your summaries. I also made a previous video all about AI summaries where it can really be helpful and also some things to be careful about. I'll put a link in the notes below. Also, make sure you're focusing the AI on the areas you know are key. For example, I'm going to flip to the page in the report. So this next area is scholarship. It's looking for a thoughtful review, and it's also looking for the information organized in a specific format. So I'm going to use the same workflow that I did before, and I'm also going to separate all of my information into two categories. So how will I do this? Let me flip over. So I've got everything in chronological order, but I would use prompts something like this. And I'm not going to show it since we've already shown that the AI is capable of this. But I would just copy all of the information that I have in chronological order and say, keep all the original text, including the hyperlinks, and separate all the information into two categories, everything else in grants. And then after it sorts all that information, I'll paste it back into another tab on the Google sheet that I've got here. And then I would just do the presentations and use this, where I would just do Windows Shift S and have everything put into a form where it fills in. And then if there's something missing, I'll have the AI prompt me for the answer on each one. And same thing with the grants. All right, on to the next step. Opportunities or gaps. The other thing that I would do would be when I think I'm done with my report, I would feed the PDF of my report and ask, is there anything missing from my report? And then give me ideas on X if there's something missing. One of the things that I found is that if you do this, sometimes you might get ideas that you can then, you can follow two approaches. One is you could maybe find something that you've done similar to what was missing, and then you can address it by filling it in into the report. The other is maybe you can add it to your plan of work for the next year. So this is a really great way to work with AI to give yourself feedback ahead of time and also work with it like it's an assistant, because it'll accelerate and improve the quality of the work. So as a bonus, this is something to consider, is that is your supervisor going to be dropping your PDF into AI and asking about your work? Probably at some point, right? And that's something that you probably want to talk to your evaluator about. You might want to ask, is there clear criteria you can get from your boss in terms of how you're being evaluated, or what are your opportunities for improvement? Okay, so that'll wrap things up for this video. If you liked it, give it a like, and make sure you subscribe for more weekly AI educational content.